Shakespeare's Denmark operates under the shadow of war. Men work day and night casting cannons, and sentinels guard the walls of Elsinore Castle, bracing for a Norwegian invasion. This is a cold, fortified military installation. The inciting incident of this narrative arrives in the dead of night. A ghostly apparition appears to the castle guards, and eventually to Prince Hamlet, claiming that the current king, Claudius, murdered the previous king. Hamlet now holds a terrifying piece of intelligence, but his only source is a ghost. He possesses absolutely zero objective evidence to convince a royal court that has already sworn loyalty to the new regime. To understand his trap, we have to look at this graphic. Elsinore functions like a panopticon, a system of control designed around constant observation. A central authority casts an unblinking eye over isolated subjects. Because the subjects never know exactly when they are being watched, they have to assume they are always being watched, ensuring their absolute compliance. Surrounded by compliant courtiers, Hamlet cannot safely play the role of a grieving prince seeking legal justice. To survive and investigate the murder, he has to become a covert operative. To gather intelligence, Hamlet adopts what he calls an antic disposition. He begins to intentionally perform madness, wandering the castle unkempt and speaking in riddles. In a state where every normal action is heavily scrutinized, a sudden break from reality provides an excellent cover story. By acting entirely unhinged, Hamlet gives himself permission to behave erratically and ask dangerous questions. King Claudius and his advisors dismiss these actions as the ravings of a broken mind, rather than the calculated moves of a rational political threat. We see this tactic deployed against the king's chief advisor, Polonius. Hamlet calls him a fishmonger to his face and babbles about maggots and bed dogs. Polonius is bewildered, completely missing that Hamlet is subtly mocking his intelligence and analyzing his motives in real time. When the state tracks your every logical move, appearing completely broken and unpredictable is the only effective camouflage. But Hamlet isn't the only one running covert operations. The entire royal court relies on a massive foundation of espionage, where the walls have ears and every dark corridor hides an informant. Polonius dispatches a spy named Reynaldo all the way to Paris to spread false rumors of drinking and gambling about his own son, Laertes. The goal is purely to test his son's reactions and gather intelligence, demonstrating how casually this paranoia operates at the highest levels of government. Naturally, King Claudius recognizes that Hamlet's erratic behavior is a liability. To find the root cause, he recruits two of Hamlet's childhood friends, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and brings them to Elsinore. The king weaponizes their shared history. He turns trusted peers into active interrogators, tasked with drawing Hamlet into casual conversation to extract his true hidden motives. Hamlet detects the operation immediately. He realizes his friends are compromised assets working for the crown. Handing them a wooden recorder, he demands they play it, telling them outright that if they lack the skill to play a simple pipe, they certainly cannot play him. Hamlet is running an isolated, improvised, one-man intelligence mission. He is up against a paranoid monarch with the resources to turn the prince's own social circle into a vast surveillance apparatus. Claudius escalates his intelligence gathering by exploiting Hamlet's romantic life. He uses Ophelia, the woman Hamlet loves, as bait, orchestrating a spontaneous meeting to gauge his mental state. The trap is set in a castle hallway. Claudius and Polonius physically conceal themselves behind an arras, a heavy wall tapestry, functioning as hidden observers while Ophelia attempts to return Hamlet's love letters. Mid-conversation, Hamlet's demeanor violently shifts. He deduces the room is bugged and demands to know where Ophelia's father is. He immediately drops his affections and berates her, loudly performing his madness for the listeners hiding behind the curtain. Knowing he is under a microscope, Hamlet pivots from defense to offense. When a troupe of traveling actors arrives at the castle, he devises a massive sting operation. As we see in this schematic, Hamlet designs a trap called the mousetrap. He takes an existing play and inserts custom lines to precisely mirror the exact forensic details of his father's murder, linking the fictional narrative on the left directly to the historical reality of the crown on the right. Hamlet deploys a secondary layer of surveillance. He assigns Horatio to act as a human camera, bypassing the stage to focus solely on Claudius's micro-expressions. Through this theatrical plot, Hamlet successfully turns the panopticon in on itself. The watched has finally become the watcher. The great hall is thick with intense psychological pressure as the performance begins. Hamlet watches Claudius. Claudius watches the play. Polonius watches Hamlet. Everyone in the room is secretly tracking someone else. The critical moment arrives on stage. An actor pours poison into a sleeping king's ear. King Claudius physically breaks down. He leaps from his chair, demands the lights be turned on, and flees the room. The sting operation works perfectly. In the empty hall, Hamlet and Horatio compare their observational notes. They have secured the definitive proof they needed, locking down the king's guilt beyond any doubt. To secure the only piece of undeniable, objective truth in the entire kingdom, Hamlet had to rely on a completely fabricated, fictional theatrical performance. But this intelligence victory contains a fatal flaw. By forcing the king into a public reaction, Hamlet has inadvertently exposed his own hand. Claudius now knows that Hamlet knows the truth. The king initiates an immediate, lethal countermeasure. He drafts a royal commission and orders Hamlet's instant geographic exile, sending him across the sea to England. The stakes shift entirely. The Cold War of observation, wordplay, and hidden motives is officially over. A hot war of mutual survival has begun. Uncovering a corrupt system requires adopting its deceptive tools. To catch a spy, Hamlet became a spy, tainting himself with the same paranoia and manipulation that infected his uncle, and setting the stage for an inevitable, bloody fallout.